want more. Crying babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every crew. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like the lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather, I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double, but nature gets the shit in a way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't stare. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
All right, y'all. Hope everybody is having a wonderful evening or morning, wherever you are. Yeah, hanging in there wherever you are in the world. The world is really in a situation right now. By the way, I just want to give a shout out to all the Palestinian people that basically are, pretty much in suffering, and have been for a minute. I don't really like to see Israelis or Palestinians fighting. I personally don't like that. I wish it would stop, and I wish both can have their countries, their way of life, their freedom, right? In peace, by the way, in peace. Because what is freedom without peace, right? But I think we can all pretty much agree that what's going on in Gaza, particularly, is just got to stop. It's got to stop. And I don't often like to. It's such a serious situation. There's a lot of people that have been speaking about it for quite some time, right? And this conflict has been going on a lifetime. My entire life. I was born into this conflict, so it's been going on my entire life, and I'm 55. That's a long time. So it's coming up on 70 years, something like that. And so I don't like to talk about it because I have respect generally for both people, right? But there's a power dynamic there, and I really definitely don't think the Palestinians ever really had a big chance. Not that people can't criticize sometimes in the history, both groups, Palestinians and Israelis, But look, we know that the reality of this one is that this is a war of superpowers. It almost doesn't have anything really to do with either group, to be honest. And I think when you're from a country that is a superpower, you recognize that. People that understand global affairs recognize how superpowers move. China, Russia, others too. You don't have to be a superpower, but the United States, the EU, we have a lot of influence, and we participate. We sell weapons. We give weapons as aid, and we also sell it. And Russia and China do the same thing. Now, for what reasons, what the excuses are, they may differ, but I think right now it's extraordinary, and so my hearts go out to actually the people of Gaza. Like, y'all got a raw deal. Period. You got a raw deal, and yeah. But in any case, tonight I just wanted to start off by saying that I wanted to do a broadcast on the women's situation in the United States, just to to do a little bit and go in depth a little bit with some of the issues that women are facing, right? But I just wanted to pause on that until I get enough data ready, up to present and to have a real discussion, because I don't want to do that conversation cheap at all, and but in light of that, right, I did want to start off before we go into the Trump stuff, because damn, Trump is just serious business, and this is a serious story. I mean, we're going to get off on Trump today because I've been saying this for some time. It's a few things that I've said, and to be honest with you, most of the things I've said are ahead of time. I'm just, not to pat myself on the back, but I'm not even just talking about this thing about the pardon. I could see that coming a mile away from focusing on Trump, just looking at him, taking a real look. By the way, not being an expert. Sometimes when you're an expert or you have these credentials, and sometimes people slip because they get used to shit always, whenever you're in a game and you're in a field, sooner or later you're going to slip up, basically, and it happens to everybody. But in any case, cool, shout out to the experts. But a lot of people didn't see this coming. A lot of experts didn't see this coming, and people like myself did, over the vlogging, over YouTube, over social media. It's some things that I've said that have been quite profound. And this thing about the pardon is not even the most profound. It's a couple of other things that I've been saying. And one of the things that I've been saying is that the United States really is actually under attack. But let me slow it down. Before, there was Ross yesterday in the live. There was Ross. Big up Ross. I think it was Ross, either Ross or L, one, of many. But the issue came up of women in the United States, right? Which made me get to this part where I wanted to do just one broadcast on women, which is scheduled for tomorrow, y'all. So tune in. But I did want to just touch on this one thing, because Ross said he heard about a tragic event regarding. I think it was a woman or a child who died, something due to the changes in the law, right? But in this case, I was talking about myself. I was talking about a woman who died because they forced her to try to try to have the child. And when you do that, the chemicals of a build up in your body, when the chemical composition is not right, that is dangerous for a woman, and it can kill you, and doctors know that very well. So before I get into the main topic, I just want to run this for Ross, just so you know, just so you hear the story for yourself. So here we go.
Texas's near total ban on abortion.
Hey, Chris,
Reporters
too.
with ProPublica told the story of 28-year-old Houston mother Jolisa Barnica, who died of a deadly infection she contracted after she had a miscarriage at 17 weeks and was denied emergency care in the hospital. Joining me now is Kavita Serrano with ProPublica to talk a little bit about this story. Let's first talk to us about what exactly happened here.
Thanks for having me. Yes, Barnica was about 17 weeks pregnant when she went to the hospital, bleeding and cramping. Doctors diagnosed her with an inevitable miscarriage. Her cervix was open, the fetus was already on the verge of coming out, so there really was no chance of saving the pregnancy. The standard of care at that point, we've talked to dozens of maternal health experts and doctors across the country. They said it's to offer to speed up the delivery or a surgery to empty the uterus. And the reason for that is that there's a high risk of developing a life-threatening infection. Barnica's husband says that she was told that it would be a crime for doctors to intervene and do that because her fetus still had a fetal heartbeat. And Texas's first abortion law, the 6-week ban, had just gone into effect a few days earlier, and it told doctors they had to record that there was no fetal heartbeat before intervening. So she stayed at that hospital 40 hours before delivering, and 3 days later, she died of sepsis. We reviewed this.
So they made her have a natural birth, even though it was killing her.
Of this case with those experts across the country, and they said that her death looked preventable. They said that waiting so long could have allowed bacteria to enter and infection to take hold, and that's why it's so important for patients to have abortion as an option in those kind of situations.
Yeah. You know,
now check this out. This is tragic, but this is not even the worst of it, because what is going on right now since something like 2001, I'm not sure, is it 2001 or further, there's not really any reporting on how many women this happens to. Check this out.
One of the things that really stands out is that this happened in 2021. Here we are in 2024. How did you guys learn of this to bring it to light?
That's right, and I think that's an indicator that there's many other cases that haven't been uncovered. There's nobody that is systematically looking into these cases and the effects of these abortion bans in an urgent way. Texas has a state maternal mortality review committee. Every state does. They examine deaths of pregnant people, but they haven't even reached the end of 2021. And their cases aren't public anyway. So as reporters, we're interested in looking into the effects of bans on maternal health that doctors have warned about. So we went looking through autopsy records that we gather from medical examiners. Then we reached out to families to interview them and learn more, gather their medical records, and then take those records to experts, people who have served on those kind of maternal mortality committees, people who deal with these kinds of cases every day, and review it with them. And it's especially stands out to hear doctors who say, if we were in Massachusetts or Ohio where there's not a law like this, she would have been delivered within a few hours.
There you have it. And that is so tragic. And keep in mind, this is not necessarily just one case, because they're not even doing reporting on how many women this happens to right now. So I just wanted to say to the listeners out there, understand this. When I was saying the other day that women, I know discrimination exists in a lot of different ways. Not that people that are discriminated against sit around all day crying either. We don't have time for that shit. Nobody does. You have to get up and work. You got to be about it. You got to get things done, right? But in terms of discrimination with Trump and women, when I said Trump hates women, Trump not only treats women poorly, like animals, like dogs, but he actually got called on his Congress. He actually signed into law this stuff through Congress. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how bad this guy is. And enough attention isn't given to this. Like, women in the country need to be aware that although all these other things are going on that we have to watch that are horrible, yes, people need to remember other things are also going on in the United States that is tragic, that's not even being reported on. Where is legacy media? Where is legacy media on this? Where's CNN? Where's Fox? Not that Fox gives a damn. NBC. I'm not trying to diss. I'm just saying, come on. These are the ones that have the biggest, well, they don't. By the way, big up to Midas Touch. They have the biggest audience. They have the biggest followership right now, more than Fox, more than CNN, I think. and kudos to them. But, where are the rest of them? Where are the rest of them? So in any case, I just wanted to put that out there as a lead up to tomorrow's broadcast, right? Now let's get into it. 2 seconds. I'm going to play something. Just give me 2 seconds to prepare myself. I'm coming. Please, y'all. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I'm coming. Just give me 1 second.
They want war. Crying babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 rows to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we're sitting on the earth looking back at extinct.
Okay, thanks. I'm back now. So let me see. Is the audio good? Yeah, okay. All right, so now back to the program. Things like I was saying, I've said some profound things before, and y'all haven't even heard the most profound stuff, a lot of people. But if you go back about a year ago, before this election, this last electoral cycle and the election of Donald J. Trump, I've been saying some things that have been pretty profound, and I'm pretty sure it's about to come out very soon. Some of this Epstein stuff is leading up to it. But in regards to the Epstein stuff, I've been saying this the whole time. There is very likely other nations that have the information, that got a hold of the information, either through having spies around Epstein, right? Because this is 20-year operation, 30-year operation. That's a lot of time to be doing all this crazy stuff. And you think that there's no spies getting information, and that you would guess that Jeffrey Epstein may not have shared it. You don't know. No one knows yet. Release the files, by the way. Release the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. You don't know, but I'm pretty sure that they definitely do. And for some people, thinking people, they would automatically guess there must be a few. Now, lately, there's been some reporting, and I don't even listen to the reports. I don't need the reports, but, they're in Russian. I think it was a British, a British security agent, right? Private security, for the state, right? Was talking about some compromising stuff on Trump, like real serious stuff. Whether it's I think it's pictures of Trump allegedly with little girls, right? And I've been saying this the whole time, that his behavior towards Putin, there have to be a real reason. There has to be a real reason for this butt licking that Trump is doing of Putin. And come on, it's so obvious, right? So that adds another dimension. This thing about Putin and stuff, it's not just about, oh, this thing about Epstein, it's not just about the girls, the hundreds of girls that were put into sex slavery, right? Abused, raped, this kind of stuff, right? It's not just about that. This story is also about the spies, the people that got a hold of that information and blackmail people, and I'm saying it damn sure looks like Trump has been blackmailed for quite some time, since the beginning. Pretty sure his contacts, I mean, it looks like, I can't guarantee you, how do I know personally, but I'm just going by what's been laid out in the public already. Donald Trump seems to have a whole lot of history with some Russians. And how would they not know that he was getting down like that? And how would they not have access to Jeffrey Epstein if he's his best friend? Come on. So it's kind of obvious, right? It's kind of obvious. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. What could be happening in plain sight? And I've said this before. I haven't said it a lot, but I've said this before. For the people that believe Jeffrey Epstein was murdered, I understand why. Because if you were going outside, I mean, if you're out there making, oh my goodness, where's this damn thing at? Oh my God, where's it at? I'm sorry, where's it? I have to find this. I don't know where the hell I put it. Where did I put it at? Oh, here it is. If you out here doing stuff like this.
How do you know this? That was supposed to show. So I need the dump. Just give me dump.
First, it's fun. And as you probably know, he had a scalp reduction. Because he had the same male pattern movement that we all have. He had his scalp moved, which is terrible. Donald's office, as you know, he made that. He used to be on the phone and said, fake PR or something. I also found it funny. I was sitting there listening to the guys from the Post talk, and Donald would say, he's a great guy. I loved working with him. And I sit there and just.
Who told Epstein that Donald Trump would just like him going out and making hundreds of hours? I don't know how many hours does this guy have of Epstein talking about him? And this is this is in the beginning of Trump's first term. The same term Jeffrey Epstein got arrested in. The same term he died in. Who in their right mind would not be bothered? Do you really think Trump wouldn't be bothered by Epstein recording stuff like that? Just openly. He gave interviews. Look, he gave an interview to damn Steve Bannon in Paris. Yes. Talking. But this one is just damning. This is like loads and loads of recordings. So if you're looking for a motive for somebody to murder Jeffrey Epstein, I don't see why any police department wouldn't see this as one. Like, straight up. I mean, this is in plain sight. Just flat out. It's flat out in plain sight. And who knows how far that rabbit hole goes? Who knows? Is it part of a larger conspiracy? It definitely ain't the conspiracy of Obama. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to jump around the conspiracies, let's go to the conspiracy about the Russians. You know what I'm saying? Putin. Let's go to that conspiracy. That seems to be wide open for some thought analysis. You see what I mean? Now, I don't know To me, this is extremely. I could understand in one way, if you can't prove it, then why charge somebody, right? How do you charge someone if you don't know you can prove it, if you don't feel like you could prove it 100%? That's also something federal agents often don't do. They don't charge people. They might know people do stuff. Police may know folks do stuff, but that doesn't mean they charge them until they have enough evidence. And so you never know why this was not prosecuted. It likely, is it because there's not enough evidence? But all I'm saying is that if you're looking for a motive, this seems like what it would be. A damn good motive, unless you like somebody telling all your secrets. I mean, and he was definitely telling. Jeffrey Epstein was telling. So and in light of the fact that Trump is still running from releasing those Epstein tapes, it's pretty likely something you don't know what's in there. I mean, number one, I believe there's definitely videotapes and pictures of Trump with girls and maybe others, likely others too, right? But is that all that's in those files? Is there something in there about espionage? I mean, I think people have heard victims even saying blackmail was part of that game. So I don't see why espionage and blackmail, all of that is not on the table. I think it's all of that. But in any case, Trump's been out there doing his thing, as we know. And Ghislaine Maxwell's been out there doing her thing, as we know. Trump's been looking like a damn fool, as usual. And, the world keeps turning, and it keeps getting more obvious that this guy is going to be out of here soon.
So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
Our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building,
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look.
Oh my God. Yeah, Trump is out there.
Welcome back to CBS This Morning. I'm Anthony Mason with Gail King and Tony DeCopel. We're learning dramatic new details about one of the most high-profile investigations in the country. On 60 Minutes last night, correspondent Sharon Alfonsi took us inside the jail cell where convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in August.
The part of the
why isn't this getting more attention? Again, if you can't prove it, right? I mean, just think about this from the perspective of police, right? Federal agents. If you can't prove it, do you arrest and prosecute? It's just that simple. And, given the fact that Trump has had a history of having some unsavory people around him, I think folks may want to start, considering things to be a little more ruthless than maybe some folks would suspect. Now, Trump, he did have these 3 executives, head executive from each one of his casinos, meet him. They were all supposed to meet Trump and get on it. This is in the 90s, and get on an airplane and go to a location. And at the last minute, according to the story, Trump called and said he was late. he couldn't make it, that they should meet him there at the location. He was, something like that. And these three executives got on that helicopter, and that helicopter crashed, and that helicopter, them on it, and that pilot, they all died. And it's always been a very mysterious thing. Now, there was never any deep investigation into that. That was in the 90s in New Jersey, I believe, that happened. So, there's been reports that that Trump has been dealing with the Russian mob for quite some time. And I don't know if people know what Russian mob is, but they're criminals, and they do kill people. Blackmail people, extort people. They wash money. They sell drugs. They sell prostitution, sex traffic. They do a lot of illegal activities, of course, and kill people. So, it's up to you what you think. It's up to you what you think. But I already know what I think. And again, to attack and to find out. Let me see. Is the mic on? Can y'all still? Oh, let me read some of the comments here. Vic Morrison said his swollen ankles showed he has heart failure. Yo, his heart ain't doing well. That good grief. It's the file. I tried to play a file that was too big, and it just screwed the whole system up. But in any case, his swollen. Just the file. I tried to play a file. Let me get back into this now. Yeah, Trump, I don't see why the police, the state, who knows if they are. Obviously, it's hard to investigate a sitting president for murder, right? But who knows if that's what was already going on? Who knows? But it's obviously, in my view, it may not be obvious to a lot of people, but in my view, it's not just one thing going on. It's some things that are coupled together, layers, and Trump and Epstein they're definitely part of the layer. There are definitely layers to it. But when it comes to espionage and blackmail, I think that's an even bigger threat to the U.S., to actually have someone that you can control sitting in the White House from afar. Like, to have a president that you could have possibly videos and tapes, right? Videos and tapes. Just think, what if a foreign government has videos of Trump with little girls? What would Trump do to escape that, to spare his ego on the world stage? That would obviously really be a bad look. And for the Trump brand, you could never live that down. Also, what you could also never live down is if you're willingly part of some sort of, giving information over to people that are blackmailing you, top secret information. That is obviously treason, right? That's obviously treason. And, obviously, I'll give you an example. MAGA people, I'm hoping they didn't. I'm hoping this is how MAGA people think. I really hope they didn't suspect that Trump was in the Epstein files when they voted for him. I really hope they didn't. And that's the same thing about being caught off guard with things that you didn't really recognize, and you become the last to know about. And these tapes, if they exist, which people are saying, the Russian government is now saying things like this exist, but it doesn't take a whole lot for a thinking person to go from Epstein Island, a place where loads of girls have gone on record saying that they were engaged in, being sex trafficked to wealthy men and by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and being recorded. Once you establish that that could be happening because witnesses, people that have girls that are women that were girls went on record, loads of them. Once they all corroborate that, it doesn't really take a genius to ask the question, I wonder who has those tapes. And you could only guess because Russia, I don't know if you know this or not, people, they're pretty good at spying, especially when you open your house to them. You know what I'm saying? When you open your house and you're doing business with the Russian mafia, it's pretty good for them to go the next step and just get you all up in there, get their hands all on you, man. And Trump has been in that situation, and one of the rumors is that, it could also be that they have him engaging in that activity in Russia as well. Because let's think about it. If he was hanging around Epstein, allegedly doing these things, allegedly accused of in the same time frame that he was in Russia too. So, and let's be honest, Trump has some very soft paws. He's probably been the weakest president in American history by far. The weakest on Russia. Absolutely the weakest. He left the White House with top secret informations from the last time. Everyone witnessed that. The entire globe witnessed it. It was reported. The entire globe. Even Stevie Wonder knew it. Even Stevie Wonder, he may not have seen it, but he heard it. He heard about it. You know what I'm saying? And so these aren't really grand thoughts. These are just, I think, obvious, rational thoughts that one would have. You take top secret information out of the White House by the crates. You have it in your house while you're inviting people from all over the world to your house. It's already been reported that one Russian spy was up in his house. I mean, come on. People think a lot. People that have short memories don't put these things together. That's obvious, right? But yeah. So I don't think this Epstein stuff is only about the girls or the boys. Or the sex. That sex seems, or that rape, or that sex trafficking, and those pedophile activities were allegedly very wealthy, aristocratic, and entertainment, private business sector billionaires involved in this stuff. And when you have these people involved with that stuff, then hey, they put themselves at risk of blackmail, indeed, and espionage. So I think people in the United States, and I have been saying this since last year, I saw this as an attack, as Trump as an attack on the United States of America by being compromised. Very simple. And I think a lot of people see it that way, even if they don't say it. Although a lot of people that voted for him probably don't see it that way because, after all, they didn't even think he was in the Epstein files. They wouldn't think, even though they heard girls saying it, they wouldn't think that he would be there. Most of them thought he would release the files. So who's delusional when you think someone's going to release the files and then they don't? Who's delusional? I didn't think he would release the files because I already suspected he was in it. So I said he ain't going to release the files. And I also said he's going to give Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon. That's what I said. And I said, why? To shut her ass up. That's why. It's very simple. And he knows that if he could give her a pardon, she likely will help him. That's all. So I don't see him releasing those tapes. So I was right about that. He's talking about giving her a pardon. He said the same things, the same little stupid stuff he said before about a pardon. Let's check it out. Let's see what the hell he says even about it. What does Trump say about a pardon? He has so many times he says stuff. Let's peep this.
Sources tell ABC News Ghislaine Maxwell is expected to meet this morning with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, once Donald Trump's criminal defense attorney. Blanche said he wants to know if Ghislaine Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims. Her attorney said Ghislaine will always testify truthfully. She was convicted of sex trafficking and enabling Epstein's abuse of women and girls. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison and has been trying to get out on appeal ever since. Trump supporters have been clamoring for the release of more information about Epstein, but earlier this month, Attorney General Pam Bondi said she was turning off the spigot. The Wall Street Journal reports Bondi and Blanche informed the president in May his name appears multiple times in the Epstein files. The paper reports they told Trump they did not plan to release them because they contained child pornography and personal information about victims. Trump deferred to their decision. Last week, Trump denied Bondi told him his name was in the files.
Did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the files?
She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen.
The next day, Trump...
So, MAGA people, if there's any MAGA people out there, if there's any people that voted for Trump, because I know there's people that didn't, but if there's any people that voted for Trump out there listening, who do you believe? Bondi or Trump? Bondi says she informed the president that his name was in the files. He says she didn't. Who do you believe? It seems quite like a conundrum there. You know what I'm saying? It can't be both. They can't both be right. And why do you think he's lying? I mean, why do you think he said he didn't and she says she did? One of them is lying. Why do you think one of them is lying? Like, why is it necessary for one of them? Is Pam Bondi conspiring against Trump? Did she set him up? Let's go down the conspiracy rabbit hole. Why would Pam Bondi say she told the president that he was in the Epstein files, and then when he says he wasn't, he never was informed by her. He said he never, ever, she never told him that. That's what he said. But Pam Bondi says she did. Who's right? Who's right? Who's delusional? Who's delusional? Who was that who called me delusional? Who's delusional now? This is crazy, man. Let's hear some more. This is wild, man. This is wild. I mean, it's so obvious and out in the open.
Yesterday, Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure.
Damn. Whoever this reporter is asking some excellent goddamn questions. I mean, you know, they're just, I don't even know why they're even here. They're probably like, don't ever allow this reporter in there again. He is evil. How could he ask me this question? Damn. Let's hear it again.
Is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency.
Now, you see, did you, I mean, I'm pretty sure he worked for, if he didn't work, I mean, because what does work mean? I'm pretty sure he sold that goddamn information. I'm pretty sure. It's a guess, but I would be guessing he's a guy who likes to get paid for his shit. And also, you know, well, he did share that information. He shared a lot about Trump to the reporter from, is it the reporter from the Daily Beast? He shared a lot of information on audio recordings. I don't know how many hours, 50 hours, 100 hours, a lot of goddamn hours. And that was before he died. And he was talking about Trump's cabinet. So that was when Trump first got in office the first time. And then he died after that. So that's some audios. I wonder what he did with the video, if he did anything. Do you really think Jeffrey Epstein just said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not giving this shit to nobody. I'll just let the FBI come and get it. I'm stingy. I feel like being stingy. I want to deprive all my other people around the world. I'm a sex trafficker, by the way. I have guys sleeping with little girls. I orchestrate that. But I'm just going to keep that information for myself. That makes no goddamn sense. You know he sent that shit out. Come on. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. If you work for the United States FBI, CIA, military, whatever, police, and you goddamn don't suspect, you pretty much don't have this view that I'm having, I really have to question your investigative skills. Like, seriously, you don't deserve any money. You should quit. Let's listen to this some more.
The former labor secretary who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure. If could I just interrupt for 1 second?
Oh, Kiki. What's up, Kiki? What's up, Jim? Oscar. Jim again. Wonderful. He's trying to throw people off with this, man.
We're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Yeah, we are. God damn it. Yeah, release the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. Trump. Hey, Trump. By the way, do you know anything about the Epstein files? When you going to release the Epstein files? We all need to chase his ass out of town. People, chase this asshole out of town. Chase this guy. The gig is up, Trump. God damn. Everybody knows. And MAGA people, you still Americans, but catch up to the program. Fight for your goddamn country. Come on, have some pride. This man made us look like a goddamn fool. He's the laughing stock of everyone, of every place, every country on earth. Trump is the laughing goddamn stock. He made the United States of America look like some goddamn fools. Do you know how hard that is going to be to work that off? That's not going to happen in four years. No. You don't walk this one off in 4 years. He did with no other. 250 years is a long goddamn time. And this dude just came along and fucked all of that up. No patriotism, no nothing. I mean, oh my God, selfish, foolish, idiotic, tariffs on this guy put us in fucking danger. Like, seriously, this dude put the United States of America and every American in fucking danger with his stupid bullshit. I'm sorry. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. But seriously, that's where this is at. This dude gave secrets. People got access to nuclear secrets that weren't supposed to have them. Like, seriously, if anybody needs to ever be chased out of the United States of America, this man and anybody else that's capping for him, they are traitors. They are goddamn traitors. Like, straight up. A lot of Americans, over the generations, it hasn't been easy. A lot of Americans have struggled. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been an easy struggle for most Americans, a lot of different types, from different backgrounds. Haven't had it easy. But they didn't sell their goddamn country out. This guy is a motherfucking shame. Excuse my language, y'all. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But it does bother me. It bothers me, you know. It bothers me because I know this, man. I know. I've been around. I know that people really did have a lot of respect for the U.S. Even though we weren't perfect, even though we make mistakes, people did still have some respect for us as Americans in terms of our culture, how we are as a people. You know, and Trump turned all those good things into something fucked up. I mean, and how do you turn an already bad situation between Israel and Palestine? How do you turn an already bad situation into the worst just ever? Just the most heartless. How do you do that? And is that on purpose? Like, is that part of what he have to do in his blackmail agreement? Is that, you know, just be extra fucking cruel, extra stupid, extra destructive to the U.S. and to people around us, our allies? Is that part of his gig? Is he doing that because he's been blackmailed? Like,
do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest.
yeah, the chat is triggered. Look at them. They're all that little silly troll gaslighting. Man, what the hell you think you're talking to, trolls? Get out of here. You better go get some health care and get a job that pays the bills. Like, straight up. If you're American and you ain't pissed off at Trump and you don't suspect him, you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn about any trolls. I'm going to rant some more. God damn it. Shit. Here we go.
The fascination is, I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake.
You guys go out there and elect people that protect pedophiles. Like, you all are shameful, your damn selves.
All that information was fake, but I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring, and I don't understand why it keeps going. I think, well, really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like it.
So you MAGA people that have been talking about the Epstein files for 4 damn years, you know, talking about Hillary Clinton on Epstein Island drinking baby blood, he's calling you all goddamn stupid. He's talking to you. I don't know why anybody would want to talk about Epstein files. Like, you know, you have to be really bad people. He's calling you all really bad fucking people. And you all are so stupid, you don't care. You don't care. You're like eating it up. Trump is right. He could come and shoot you and you wouldn't do shit. You would be like, it was my fault. Trump shot me. I'm sorry, Trump. What did I do to you? Please, I loved you, Trump. And you, please, I love you.
Like that going, but credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney general told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen?
MAGA people, the shit y'all was talking about for 4 goddamn years was all a hoax, according to Trump. I mean, I don't have to even, I feel sorry for you guys, to be honest. Like, what the hell? You trolls, man. Y'all looking really sad right now, I swear.
It's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier.
You guys, you MAGA people are a bad group. You guys have been playing in to a conspiracy against Trump. How dare you?
dossier that turned out to be a total hoax.
Oh my
the 51
God.
agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall in.
You MAGA people, stupid Republicans. Damn, he just called y'all stupid. What is this? Trolls, dare raise it. Where the MAGA trolls go? Where they go? They disappeared. Okay, I see the left. I see the left is up in here too, or even the center. Fuck it, because you don't even have to be left to know this is bullshit. You could be in the center and know this is some garbage. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have a brain. Damn. You know, like this guy. Oh my God. He's lucky he has security. He's lucky he has security, because I'm not saying do anything to him bad, but I'm saying he definitely, you know, this would be the kind of guy you chase out of town. This is how bad this guy is. And you know something? I'm going to make another prediction. He is going to leave town. He's going to leave the country. You don't do this kind of stuff and stay once you're out of power. You don't do that. He's going to be gone with y'all money. He is going to be gone with the money bag. This guy's not staying around. He's not staying around at all, man. It's looking bad.
And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy.
Yeah, and you ain't good for nothing either. You didn't even release the damn Epstein files. They came out there in March. Pam Bondi came out there. Here's round one of the Epstein files. Y'all look, see, we keeping our promises. President Trump keeping our promises. Oops. Caught out there.
They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running.
Yo, Vic, his ass is definitely off to Russia. No doubt. He can go find some little girls over there.
He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements we've had, a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump made good.
Did you notice that he called Epstein a really bad guy just in the clip before? And now in the next clip, he's calling it a hoax. I mean, which one is it, dude?
He's the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including in the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
Yeah, you MAGA people are really doing the Democrats' work. Wow, damn. That's a new one for me. I'm like, thank you, MAGA people, for doing the Democrats' work. I really appreciate y'all for that. Trump hates you, by the way. I mean, damn, look at this. And this is, I mean, you know, this is just like really, really goddamn embarrassing. But here's our president, suspected pedophile, you know, suspected treasonous, you know, also just goddamn fool, you know, not even suspected of being a fool, not even suspected of being, you know, having very poor literacy. Check this out. Not just suspected. It's people saying it.
According to a resurfaced interview, it is possible that Trump is actually, well, not literate. Here it is.
Who are your favorite authors?
Well, I have a number of favorite authors. I think Tom Wolfe is excellent.
Did you read Vanity of the Bonfires?
I did not.
It's a phenomenal book.
What book are you reading now?
Well, I'm reading,
Bonfire of the Vanities.
I'm reading my own book again because I think it's so fantastic, Tom.
What's the best book you've read beside Art of the Deal?
I really like Tom Wolfe's last book, and I think he's a great author. He's done a beautiful job.
Which book?
His current book. His current book. It's just out.
Bonfire of the Vanities.
Yes. And the man has done a very, very good job. And I really can't hear with this earphone, by the way.
What happened with the Trumpster? Okay, so he's like, he doesn't really know how to read.
For real.
Yeah, and he loves to improv.
Yeah.
So during like the table read,
one of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about the subject to think you're right.
And then this is my favorite part is there was a sketch that we wrote where he's at Disneyland with his daughter, and the line is, "All right, let's get out of here. Turkey legs? Like let's go get turkey legs." And he doesn't know how to read. So he went, "All right, let's get out of here, turkey legs." He called his daughter turkey legs.
Present a letter from the king. Thank you very much. Am I supposed to read it right now?
Yeah, please do.
I will do.
I've got to tell him what your reaction is, so I need to know.
He's a great gentleman. A great, great gentleman. Oh, that's well.
Oh, he can't even make out the damn words. What the fuck? Oh my God. I mean, what is this? The dude, I mean, yo, I don't know that. All I can say is, to me, it looks like he can't read. So, yeah.
That is really nice. I must make sure his signature's on that. Otherwise, it's not quite as meaningful.
I think everybody in the room knows he can't read. That's how they're laughing, like, ha, 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 ha. We know he can't read. It's like a little joke, a secret, you know? Trump can't read.
It is, and that's quite a signature, isn't it? Beautiful. He's a beautiful man, a wonderful man, and we appreciate it. I've known him, gotten to know him very well, actually. First term and now second term. Perhaps you'd like to say what that very important paragraph.
Yes, so this is a letter from His Majesty the King.
Perhaps you like.
You know what's funny? He would have, if he can't read, he would have to trust someone else to tell him what is actually said. Like, and what if it's a private? What if it's meant just for him, but yet he has to go to someone else to find out what it is? That's sad. That's. I mean, he may be dyslexic, but you know, yeah, he might be, but he can go. He can get some help for that. You know, he can get some help. I mean, that's what I think. A lot of dyslexic people get help.
The Scottish hospitality.
There were Sky News questions.
Now, him and J.D. Vance, they had the nerve to come to Europe and preach about culture or values and shit, right? And people laughed at him. They looked at him, J.D. Vance, like he was crazy, you know, and they were offended. They were offended because I'm going to be quite honest with you. Every European looks at the U.S., they like Americans, but the thing about all the guns and the poverty, the homelessness, the thing about not you know, caring about your citizens enough to make sure everybody has access to health care and education, they look down on that. They look down. That's the part that they look down on. They don't look down on the American people. They look down on the politicians that don't even think enough of their own people's culture, own people's, you know, just well-being, values. They look down on that. And, you know, and this is basically how it is.
Sure.
Mr. Trump, can you escape the Jeffrey Epstein crisis?
Maybe that's why we heard this.
What's that song?
I don't know, it's very famous though.
It's from a musical. Yeah. Memories.
Music boomed out from the convoy of golf carts, drowning out the surrounding.
was so hilarious, yo. Brian Cohen, he's killing it with this, but yes, this dude is going around traveling the globe, and he's the laughing stock. He's just the laughing stock. I mean, that's all you can do. But Trump, unfortunately, he's in a whole group of laughing stocks. Pete Hegseth, I don't even know where the hell to begin. I mean, to be honest with you, it's too much. It's like every direction you turn to, there's another fool. You know, it's really starting to take a toll. You know, actually, it's very, very sad. But let's see something here. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
Seth, as you reported, was warned about these systems.
Yeah, he was warned specifically to be very careful with the information. Because remember, Katie, what we're talking about here is literally moments before manned U.S. military aircraft were taking off, in some cases off of an aircraft carrier that were headed towards airstrikes in Yemen. The Houthis have proven that they have shoot down U.S. aircraft, U.S. drones. It is a contested airspace. It is among the most dangerous missions for a U.S. military pilot to fly, to go into a contested airspace and conduct airstrikes. That's what we're talking about. Secretary Hegseth took information, specific information about those strikes, time that aircraft were taking off, time that they were supposed to be on target and dropping bombs. That is among the most sensitive classified information that exists in the United States military because, again, it was an imminent, approved military operation that was just about to begin. And it's not just the aircraft.
Hey, Sally, I hear you. And it is hard work to get over it. But this man has, I'm not saying everyone can get over it either. But, you know, it seems like Trump might be in an excellent situation to get some help if that's the case, you know.
Potentially be in jeopardy. The men and women who were on those ships where they were launching the aircraft, everyone who would have been involved in that could have been put in jeopardy if that information got out. That's why it is so sensitive. And that's why our reporting several weeks or months ago was, in fact, that the secretary was warned to be very careful when he was discussing any of that information, just given the nature of the possibility that it could actually put men and women's lives at risk.
Kevin, I want to ask you about something else. This is the Pentagon participating in think tanks, participating in things like the Aspen Security Forum. Normally, this is something the Pentagon does get involved with. Can you tell me why normally and why suspending their participation in think tanks, et cetera, is concerning, in your opinion?
Yeah, so there's breaking news today. The Pentagon is directing a pause for all participation in these conferences. The defense conference circuit is a vital part of how the Pentagon communicates its intentions and its plans, its future, its leaders to the public through the think tank world. Not just the think tanks, but this appears to also.
Hey, is that call? I think it says Trump is the president we need to balance out American society and reduce the size of government. Okay. Well, that's your perspective, right? I get that. But are you going to get some reduction in taxes if the government size is reduced? Or do you want to pay the same taxes you pay now? Tell me that. I don't agree with your statement, but I'm just curious, like, if that's what you want. If the government is going to be smaller, can we get some of that money back in our pocket?
Include things like the Army, Navy, Air Force. They have their own conferences that happen in Washington that are like, you know, if you think of the auto show on crack, it's like howitzers and helicopters and everything you could possibly think of. There are also places where the officers from those organizations come together to talk about future, just like any profession has the conference. The reason that they suspended participation is because
Trump. A guy is in the chat named Cole, and he said he doesn't pay taxes. Okay, so, you know. Oh my goodness.
They don't like the think tanks that they're going to, and they're afraid of what they might be asked. So I used to run and create large conferences like this at Defense One. I've advised conferences like the Aspen Security Forum and the Halifax Forum, the Munich Security Conference. To pull the American leaders out of those is to leave a void where the community that supports them of academics and researchers and defense and industry cannot They don't get to have a public forum to talk about what they're there to talk about. So it's in the Pentagon's mind, at least in Trump's Pentagon's mind, it's a way to figure out who are the guys that agree with us and don't, and let's not support the ones that don't. But in the external world, it could be a real, black eye and a real, own goal where the Pentagon is pulling itself out of major arenas that are places where the world's global security community make policy.
And it just occurred to me that, people that don't have jobs don't pay taxes. Homeless people don't pay taxes either. I mean, they don't have a job. But usually if you have a job, you have payroll taxes and stuff like that. But, hey, billionaires might not pay taxes either, right? So maybe that's what's going on there. But let's see here. Let's go on Hexet more.
It has been months since the Pentagon Inspector General began its investigation into that Signal chat leak scandal. And so far, it is not good news for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. According to new reporting from the Washington Post, the Pentagon's independent watchdog has evidence that the Signal messages from Secretary Hegseth in the group chat on attack plans contain.
This fool was told before any of this happened. They were told specifically in writing, do not use Signal chat. And they went out there and did it. And that's why I'm asking the question. This blackmail stuff, this blackmail idea with Epstein, Russia, Trump, little girls, this kind of stuff, right? Could it be that the blackmail is actually, they have these videos, have photographs, and what they're doing is making Trump release information like this Signal chat? Who else was on the Signal chat? He said his family, but was his family's phones compromised? Come on, he's the head of the damn Pentagon. These people have spies in the United States. They have agents. They will follow your family members, try to get access to their phone, because you call them so they can get access to your family's phone so they can overhear you through your family. This kind of stuff. And this guy's using a damn actual app that they specifically said don't use on day one. Don't use on day one. So is this on purpose or is this an accident? I think somehow I think it's on purpose. I think he's been told to do it. Myself, I don't know by who, but this guy really does, they use Signal chat. And, the bottom line is that you're not supposed to. That goes against security. So, and they were told that. And that's a norm in that business, the business of security, the business of the military, the business of top secret. These people are taking top secret shit and compromising it all the time, and is it an accident or is that part of the blackmail? You tell me.
The information from a classified email with the label secret, no foreign. Secret, meaning that the information was classified at a level which unauthorized disclosure could be expected to cause serious damage to national security. And no foreign, meaning it was not meant for anyone who is a foreign national. It is a revelation that plainly contradicts the Trump administration's insistence that no classified information was shared in that chat. Joining us now, NBC News senior national security correspondent Courtney Kuby and president of Elevation Global Strategies and former executive editor of Defense One.
All right, so we know Hegseth is a drunk, basically, allegedly, right? And I don't know, does Hegseth still go to AA meetings? Is Hegseth an alcoholic? Has he admitted to being an alcoholic? He looked very drunk when he was speaking in front of NATO. I could have swore I saw him taking some glasses of scotch or something, drinking something, right? Some liquor. It didn't look like water. When you drink water, your mouth and your throat moves different than when you're drinking liquor, And he damn sure to me looked like he was up there in front of NATO drinking drinking liquor. But again, that's just looks, right? But in any case, just to prove Trump is not a flat out racist, you know, that's even though they try to destroy DEI, I was saying they use racism as a ploy to attract, racism to MAGA is like flies to honey. You know what I mean? Basically. So this is with the honey for the flies. Trump puts that racism out there to get their, approval, to get their hopes up. And then he goes and steals their grandparents' money, steals their grandparents' health care, steals their Social Security, but without the honey, you wouldn't be able to attract them and then be able to, do whatever you want with them after, right? So Trump, I don't know, you tell me, is he a racist? I know damn sure he's a misogynist. Damn sure. He looks like a misogynist. I mean, he says some very misogynistic things. I would even say my opinion of him is that he must hate women, right? Females in general, girls too. But just for the record, there's actually a couple of black folk here and there that go for Trump. I mean, most African Americans, I think 80% up there, 80 something, roughly 80%, the highest group, ethnic group to vote for Kamala Harris and against Trump, right? Everybody else kind of staggered around 60%, 60, 65%, depending on who you are. I think Kamala Harris got a lot of support from who else? I don't want to misquote the data, but there's others too that had some slightly higher numbers than average. But a lot of people hung around 50, 60, and unfortunately, a lot of those people, some of them have backgrounds that are being kicked out. I mean, we saw Palestinians voting for Trump, saying it, not all, but a segment of them. We saw a segment of Hispanics. We saw a large segment of women in the country, of European descent, maybe, I guess, white American women. I guess that's what they call themselves, supporting Trump. Well, damn, that's very harsh when he wants to take away something from you too, your rights. There was people that did that, but among them, it's always worth looking at both sides of the coin. This is someone that Trump endorsed. And his name's Mike Robinson. He was running for governor, and I think he was lieutenant governor at one point. I don't know if he still is. But this guy, he would be comparable to Uncle Ruckus in the Boondocks cartoon, right? So I just want to put this out there so everyone else in MAGA and the other people, maybe some Palestinians, maybe some Hispanics, maybe just a diverse group, don't feel so bad for falling for Trump, because this guy, Trump endorsed this guy. This is horrific.
In this country, they wanted reparations. And I remember I made this particular liberal so angry at me because I told them right to their face, nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes. Why do you owe?
First of all, get the fuck out of my face, Mark Robinson. Keep that shit to yourself. And really, this guy is sick. He's sick in the head. He's sick in the head. He really is sick in the head. I mean, he has been infected by the same thing a lot of people try to do. They go out on a limb to kiss up to Trump. I mean, he's no different than Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Pam Bondi's a woman. Trump seems to be very misogynistic. Kash Patel has an Indian background, I believe, Indian African background. He hates Trump is kicking in, chasing these people down. But Kash Patel licks Trump's ass. There's a lot of examples like this. I don't know if these are just like fixture, characters he just pulls out when he wants to to show that, hey, I'm diverse. I'm diverse. They all hate themselves, damn near, and it's really ridiculous. But this is one of the examples. Trump endorsed an anti-reparations African American, and he goes so far to say not only should you not be talking about reparations for slavery and Jim Crow in your own country that you're from, not only should you not be talking about that, but it's you who owes. You owes. And then he goes on to try to say, like, somebody was out there in the fields for you. Somebody went out there and suffered for you. Yeah, I know. God damn it. It was my relatives. What the hell are you talking about? Dude, this dude is like, he's acting like we strangers to our own goddamn history. It's like, but then he flips it around in the end in true gaslighting form and is like, at the end, it's you who owes. Listen to this. This is just insane.
Fields took stripes for you. Somebody after those fields were ended and slavery was ended, somebody had to walk through Jim Crow for you. Somebody.
I wonder who that was. Who is that somebody? He's acting like this dude is he's like, Trump, how would you know that, Mark? How would you know that, Mark? He's trying to erase, don't you stupid asshole? He's trying to erase that part of history from the history books, you dumbass. But this is just another case of MAGA. And I just want to make you guys feel okay. Understand, it's okay. It's not a specific color of people that go for this shit. It's a mindset. It's not a particular ethnicity. It's a mindset. MAGA is a way of life. I guess that's what you could call it. MAGA is a way of life, goddammit. It's a way of life. Oh my God. Here was some more. This is the way of life for you. This shit is just outrageous. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But that was, if you don't know who Mark Robinson is, by the way, Google him, because he really, really, he did something really special there. I don't know what he was trying to do, but
wants these children to be starving. And Mr. Trump, I am so very disappointed in you. I voted for you, and you have just...
This is a good lady right here. I like her. I can feel where she's coming from. What she's got to say is so deep.
Turned us into a bunch of hateful, mean, horrible people. And it's just, I know we've got too many immigrants in this country, but my goodness, we don't have to be mean to them. That's not what this country is built on. I probably won't be here for the next election. But my goodness, I'll never, ever vote Republican, and I've been voting for 80 years. I don't know. This country's just going in the wrong direction. It's just sad.
I feel her. And, immigration is something that every country discusses. It's not a special conversation. It's a conversation that all countries have. It doesn't matter where you're going. Go to North Korea. They talking about immigration. Come on. Everybody's talking about immigration. But that's not a bad thing. That's just reality, right? You have to have control over your borders. You have to have a process. You have to have a process for immigration, a process that works with who you are. Like, people look at the U.S. as a democracy, as a leader of the world, or they used to. And so they expect that the immigration process would show that we're leaders, not leaders in bullying people, not leaders in hating people, leaders in showing people how you do it correctly, the right way. So people can still look at you as a, having high standards, and also, and high standards in this regard means, understanding human rights, right? Treating people humanely. And, this, obviously has not been the case with the Trump administration. It's almost like they go out to do things inhumanely. And that's not cool because, again, you mess up the image of our country. And we had to work for generations and generations and generations through hard times to build up our image to what it was before Trump came in and just walked all over people, showed his bare ass to the world. I mean, that's actually not a cool thing to do. You know, it's not cool to show how disrespectful you can be. It's not cool to show how little you care about anybody else. It's not smart. It's not civil, and you know, that is what's happening to the point where you have a woman here. She's voted Republican her whole life. She might die next year. She might not even live to see the 2026 election. She voted Republican her whole life. And
Wants these children to be starving. And Mr. Trump, I am so very disappointed in you. I voted for you, and you have just turned us into a bunch of hateful, mean, horrible people. And it's just, I know we've got too many immigrants in this country, but my goodness, we don't have to be mean to them. That's not what this country is built on. I probably won't be here for the next election, but my goodness, I'll never, ever vote Republican, and I've been voting for 80 years. I don't know. This country's just going in the wrong direction. It's just sad.
yeah, and it's not just the immigrants. It's for immigrants out there that are listening. You should take stock in the fact that Trump is not just treating you like shit. He's treating Americans like shit. And again, I'm just curious. Is it sabotage? Is it part of the blackmail? Is it part of him being compromised allegedly? Is it part of the alleged pictures and videos with the little girls that a foreign nation may have to use to blackmail Trump, to get him to do these kind of horrible things, attack our nation from inside, dismantle our nation, make our nation weak so that we can be attacked even or lose our footing in the world? Who knows? I suspect it is. Fuck it. I don't give him the benefit of the doubt. But again, who knows, right? I don't really know. I suspect. But yeah, it's so actually sad to hear this woman because she's 80 and she was a MAGA folk. She was a Republican. She voted for Trump. She voted for Trump. She voted for Trump. Now this is from Keith Edwards. He did some. There's been some stories out there, and he just covered this. So big up to Keith Edwards. He's out of D.C. also. And I like the energy from Keith. I like some of the stories that he drops and the kind of style he puts on it and the perspective he puts on it. But take a listen to what he was discussing. And again, I've always suspected this from day one. From day one, who knows if it's disinformation from the Russian government? Because even if they have something, why would they tell you they have something? What do they want out of telling you? Things like that you have to think about, right? So I have no doubt that they have access to stuff like this, no problem. But them telling, I find it a little curious. I don't know if I trust it, but in any case.
This professor who spoke to his longtime British friend who is in the upper hierarchy of the intelligence service there, said this. Now, this is fascinating. Paraphrasing his opening line, he said, Peter, I can't understand, that Peter is the person he's talking to. Peter, I can't understand why your national media failed to report what most NATO countries in Israel have known for a decade. Compelling evidence that Putin's KBG secured compromat information of Trump's lifelong pedophilia. It has become apparent to all of us that your national media lacks the will to investigate because of the oligarchs who control them. Yet, the fact that the Wall Street Journal has now published information that its editors were well aware of years ago suggests that your oligarchs have decided Trump has outlived his usefulness, so they are pushing him out the door so Vance can take over. That was their plan all along because they were well aware of Trump's severe cognitive decline and the lack of any impulse control over what comes out of his mouth. My older followers might remember my post in 23-24 raised similar concerns from a British friend. Nothing new here from him except his surprise that our national media has failed us so badly. I'm not surprised the media has failed us badly. That's what the media has been doing for 10 years.
Facts. Facts. Media has been doing that for 10 years. And, I have no doubt that they have these kind of things on Trump. But at the same time, I do know how disinformation works. It utilizes some truths to be able to now shift slightly your direction. So it's not necessarily about something not being true, but it's how it's presented, right? And I think in this case, it's obvious that they want to make it seem like they are equal to the U.S. by framing these folks as oligarchs. Sure, maybe they're oligarchs, right? They're trying to get into the American people's minds by utilizing some of the American people's own stories and now projecting it as if they, to try to make it seem like they're part of that world. You see what I mean? When really it's to control the conversation. That's why they're saying it now. They want to be a part of the conversation. They want to get in on the political dialogue in the U.S. So they're going to now frame it that way, right? They're gonna frame it that way, and try to make it seem like they knew what the plan was all the time. It was J.D. Vance. Yeah, I said that. See, this is what's ridiculous about it. I said that last week. You know what I'm saying? Everyone who tunes in heard me say it a few times, and now the Russians are saying it. So they're very good at patrolling the internet. They're also good at following the pulse of the American people because that's what they did to MAGA. That's what they did to MAGA first. They followed their sentiment, their feelings, their gripes, and then they fused themselves within that movement. They did. And they were able to help in spreading disinformation. A lot of this, now I said disinformation doesn't necessarily lack truths. But what it does is steer you slightly in, so that your trajectory is bent a little. So they talked about the pedophiles. They talked about this, but they framed it as Hillary drinking baby blood on Epstein Island. They focused on the thing they wanted to. And then they made MAGA the champions of the pedophile hunting and then MAGA's turning face now about face because they framed it that way. Trump is all up in the Epstein files. It's Trump. You see what I mean? But that's how disinformation works. That's how it works. So you got to be critical of things, But in any case, that's what's out there in the media. Now, that story is going around. You hear people discussing it. And hey, maybe it's true. Maybe it's true, Well, folks, I'm going to be out now. I appreciate everybody for coming through and listening. Again, I just want to say, even if you are MAGA, you're still an American. So if I was the president and your town got hit by a hurricane, I would release the disaster funds, on the first day, because I believe how we bring people together is by actions, showing that we respect you as a person, as a fellow American. I believe that's how you're supposed to do it. You see what I mean? So I wouldn't hold back the funds. I wouldn't hold back the funds for any Americans, but I also wouldn't have allowed abortions to be banned. I wouldn't have done that either. So I'm not, I'm reaching out to fellow Americans in different ways. Women, right? American women. I wouldn't have banned that. I don't want to see you die just because every birth doesn't go correctly. I'm not going to let you die on the hospital bed because every birth doesn't go correctly. You see what I mean? And, for a lot of people, LGBT, myself and others, I'm like, live and let live. Let people live and let live. Stop trying to. The Republican Party has this thing about controlling people's bodies. And we ain't slaves no more. None of us are slaves anymore. And this fixation on controlling other people's bodies and thinking you can control other people's bodies is not a good look in a country that actually had chattel slavery for centuries. That's not a good look. That's part of the fixation. Now that slavery is over, you're fixating on people, on women, and you still want to control women's bodies. You're fixating on other people. You don't own nobody else's body. You see what I mean? So I would reach out to people that understand what that conversation is about. Live and let live. You see what I mean? Try to lift people up instead of tearing people down. Try to lift Americans up instead of tearing them down. It's easy to tear people down. It's easy to do that. But I would suspect the people that do it the most don't give a fuck about their own country. So on that note, I'll see y'all tomorrow. We're going to talk about some women. And please, if you got any questions, any particular points you want me to bring up about the situation with women in the U.S., put it in the chat. Not this chat, but in the after the stream is over. Let me know some of the things or tell me something about how women have it. You see what I mean? Tell me what you know about how women have it in the U.S. compared to other nations. And we can have a good conversation. On that note, I'm out, y'all. Thanks for coming through. The folks on the left, yo, what's up? Big up to you. The people in the center, big up to you. The people on the right, okay, if you get your shit together, you could be something. Right now, you're looking like some damn fools. Right now, you're looking really, really bad. Clean your shit up, fellow American. Clean it up. Fix this. Be a part of making the country great for real, and not just in some fucking slogan where, that's just out there so the billionaires can come in and raid your damn Social Security, raid the Treasury. You guys walked in Elon Musk. I mean, are you out of your mind? Don't you know anything about freedom? You don't want rich people owning your ass? Come on, you have to constrain them. That's what laws are for. That's what laws are for, literally. You give people too much power, they will abuse it. Look at the Supreme Court. You give them lifeline appointments. You appoint them to lifetime service, and they go out there and accept trips on yachts, take vacations. You know what I mean? All kinds of weird shit off of your tax dollars. Yo, aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? Aren't you complaining about the economy? Well, yeah, they're wasting it. You're paying for people that are abusing their power. Yeah, that's part of your economy. Your taxes pay for that. Somebody earlier said they don't pay taxes. Well, hey, you're lucky because anybody that pays taxes is paying for these kinds of bullshits. These kinds of whack ass things to go on. They're paying for people to make a fool out of our goddamn country and make fools out of us. You should take it personally. All right, y'all, I'm out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. when the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the brink. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather, I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double, but nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't, cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make